Sahaba Shalom, Samir. How are you?
Sahaba Shalom. I am doing, amazing. How about yourself, Akosi?
Hello, I'm Barak too. It is raining here, so enjoying the cool off, and just the calming of the rain. Hello,
Halal, all praises. I'm so glad you guys got that.
Yes, ma'am, all praises. We'll send you guys some if you need rain. We got plenty to send over.
I don't think I saved enough.
I heard that. Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play our 2 songs while the other coaches join us, and then we'll get started.
All right, all praises.
All praises.
Your name on my tongue, like sweet wine. Your hands on my waist, like a sacred sign. Garden in the dark where the soft things grow. You pull me close and the whole room slows. You know I came for the holy fire, skin to skin and a pure desire. Trace my heart with a patient touch. Say my name low, I need that much. Lay me down in your mercy now. Pull me close till I lose my vow. Body and soul, in your sweet repair. Stay with me like a prayer. Frankincense in the air, on your collarbone. I was dust before, now I'm flesh and bone. You speak inside, I answer in flames. Wrapped in your arms, I forget my name. Ooh, you know I came for the holy fire, skin to skin and a pure desire. Trace my heart with a patient touch. Say my name low, I need that much. Lay me down in your mercy now. Pull me close till I lose my vow. Body and soul, in your sweet repair. Stay with me like a prayer. If the night gets deep, let it carry us through the veil of want into tender trust. You are born to me, you are born and bred. Love me like a song till there's nothing left. Pull me close till I lose my vow. Body and soul, in your sweet repair. Stay with me Load the scrolls up. Yeah. Flip it, fold it. Yeah. Sword in the soul. Watch the dark get roasted. Load the scroll. Yeah. Step in the ring, I'm cloaked in smoke, a liar, who in the zone? You just quoting memes, I'm quoting stones, they chiseled in the dome. You chasing clicks, I'm splitting clips. I'm Moshi on the mountain, I swing that ruach. Blood your block, blood thicker than the fountain. You screaming, go! I'm with the lamb that never played the victim. You worship chains, I break them off and make the wicked listen. You sell your image, I'm in scriptures, let the prophets paint me. You say you real, I check your fruit, your rotten branches can't contain me. I'm in that separate chapter, letter line, I see the plot. You bargain souls for paper, I watch Babel towers drop. You love the serpent, I'm the heel that crushes through his jaw. You love the stage, I love the flame that falls on soaking straw. I'm in that wilderness 40 nights. You in the VIP, you trade your birthright for a deal in weak designer tees. You bow to devils, I bang on devils, hammer to the teeth. You been the pressure, I been these and make the beast retreat. You think you dark, I seen the pit is colder than your heart. You think you hard, I seen the arc right higher than the stars. You think you ready, take this plague talk, frogs in your bed. I call on y'all, the storm responds, your whole career is dead. You write for trends, I write for ends. The prophets already saw. You broke the fence, I guard the gate. Two-edged blade, the law. You got a crown, a studio lights. I got a crown with thorns. You got a sound that fades in weeks. I got a sound reborn. I stand on stone, you stand on sand. Watch your persona slide. I'm with y'all. Who are you with the world? We never will collide. Bang on the devil, we stomp that snake. Name of Yah, on every wave we make. Truth in the flesh, they fake, we live. All praise up, watch the darkness give. Bang on the devil, we stomp that snake. Name of Yahuwah, whole earth shake. Script slipped on the tongue. That flame that blaze, walk through the fire, never gon' fade. I ain't your queen of toxic, I'm a devil with the drum. You rap for lust and liquor, I rap fire on the scum. You thought I played that vixen, let executives decide. I'm chopping heads of idols, swing that word from every side. I seen the serpent in the meeting, smiling by the bridge. He offers strings and silver tongues. I'm throwing off the bridge. He whisper, bend a little, try to twist me in the chair. I quote them ancient chapters, watching panic disappear. I'm on the Esther time and walking in while thrones debate. They write out death decrees, I flip the script, they suffocate. You sell your body for a slide, I sell my fear to y'all. I bought my freedom with repentance, watch me scar your God. You want your followers, I want famine, broken chains undone. You want your filters, I want widows fed and orphans run. You want your cloud, I want the clouds ripped open. Trumpets blast, you do it for the culture. I'm here to break the golden cat. I stand on set for words, I've seen the curse, I've seen the oath. You flaunt a serpent tattoo, I'm tattooed with the host. I set my face like Flint, I walk through gin and smoke. You lost the labels, I'm in Zion when these systems choke. You say I'm too intense, that's cause your conscience walking out.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Tonight we are reading Genesis chapter 20, 21, 22, and 23. So let's open up in prayer before we begin. Abiyah, Tola Rabah, for another fourth day, another gathering of fellowship, building of sisterhood in your word. Abiyah, please guide this study. Let it be of you and not of us. Abiyah, I just ask that whatever is said today may touch someone here and on the replay as well. Again, Tola Rabah, Abiyah, for all that you do and all that you continue to do in our lives. And we pray this prayer in Yahushua HaMashiach's name, and we say, Hallelujah, and so be it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So be it.
Shalom, Akodi Miranda.
Shalom,
Hello.
Makoti Jan, and Shalom, Makoti Avia. How's everybody?
Good. That's supposed to Samantha.
I'm sorry, my
You're
apologies. My
fine.
apologies.
Right.
All is
Jehovah
well.
Shalom, Makoti Samantha.
Ahava Shalom, Makoti. I feel like we're having a group hug right now.
I'll
Hello,
take it.
y'all.
Allow
Right.
Yah, I
Yes.
will take it. Need it after today.
Yes, ma'am. All praises, the Most High Yah gave us this group to get together. I really look forward to it.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
Yeah.
I look forward to our Wednesday fellowship.
Yeah. Is there anyone that can't read tonight? We have 4 chapters tonight. Hello,
I'm
yeah.
good. Allow Yah.
Coach Samantha, can you do Genesis 20?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And Coach Miranda, can you do Genesis 21?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I'll take 22 and 23. And Coach Samantha, you can begin whenever you're ready.
Oh, yeah, I had to check on the voice.
Sure. Take your time.
There she's Genesis 20. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the country of Negev, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of El-Sarai, his woman, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. The Elohim came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, you are but a dead man for the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's woman. And Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Adonai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he unto me, She is my sister. And she, even she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands have I done this. And Elohim said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I you not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his woman, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you, and you shall live. And if you restore her not, know that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears. And the men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What have you done unto us? And what have I offended you, that you brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What saw you that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my woman's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister, she is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my woman. And it came to pass, when Elohim caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is your kindness which you shall show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen, and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him Sarah his woman. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes unto all that are with you, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto Elohim, And Elohim healed Abimelech and his woman and his maidservant, and they bore children. For Yahuwah had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech, because of Sarah, Abraham's woman. Hallelujah.
Bereshit, Genesis 21. And Yahuwah visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahuwah did unto Sarah as he had spoken. But Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzchak. And Abraham circumcised his son Yitzchak, being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzchak was born unto him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah would have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Yitzchak was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Mizraim, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Yitzchak. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And Elohim said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad and because of your bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto you, hearken unto her voice, for in Yitzchak shall your seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beer-sheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child on the shrub. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of Elohim called to Hagar out of the heavens and said unto her, what else you heavens? Fear not, for Elohim has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, tell it in your ears, for I will make him a great nation. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And Elohim was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Haran, and his mother took him a woman out of the land of Mizraim. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of the host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear 7 oaths unto me here by Elohim, that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear 7 oaths. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I know not who has done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither yet heard I of it but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them cut a covenant. And Abraham set seven ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what means these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have dug this well. Wherefore he called that place Beer-sheba.
because they swore 7 oaths, both of them. Thus they cut a covenant at Beer-sheba. Then Amalek rose up and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the lands of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beer-sheba and called there on the name of Yahuwah El Olam. And Abraham sojourned in the Palestinian land many days. Hallelujah.
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 Bereshit. Hallelujah. Bereshit. Genesis chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things which Elohim did try Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your Yachid, Ishak, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there as an ascending smoke offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him, and Ishak his son, and clave the wood for the ascending smoke offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the ascending smoke offering and laid it upon Ishak his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Ishak spoke unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for an ascending smoke offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for an ascending smoke offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahuwah called unto him out of the heavens, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing you have not withheld your son, your Yachid, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram, caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for an ascending smoke offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahuwah Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahuwah it shall be seen. And the angel of Yahuwah called unto Abraham out of the heavens the 2nd time, and said, By myself have I sworn 7 oaths, says Yahuwah. For because you have done this thing, you have not withheld your son, your Yachid. That in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is upon the sea shore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things, that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she has also borne children unto your brother Nahor, thus his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram. and Kesed, and Aso, and Kodash, and Yidlaf, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begot Rivkah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bore also Heba, and Gaham, and Zahash, and Ma'akah. Genesis chapter 23. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kirjath-arba, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his bed and spoke unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hearest, my Adonai, you are a mighty prince among us in the choice of our sepulchres. Bury your dead. None of us shall withhold from you his sepulchre, but that you may bury your dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it for me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my Adonai, hear me. I give the field to you, in the cave that is therein. I give it to you. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it to you. Bury your dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spoke unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if you will give it, I pray you hear me. I will give you money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My Adonai, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and you? Bury therefore your dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field that were in all the borders round about were made sure. Unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this Abraham buried Sarah, his woman, in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get into it. Let's start with Genesis. Well, Bereshit, Genesis chapter 20. Anyone have anything for that?
I believe about like 3 weeks ago, we were speaking about this very chapter.
Mm-hmm.
It is so juicy.
I want it there.
Yeah, you like it? Sorry, that's little Lucas.
Little Lucas.
I think it's so beautiful how the Most High spoke through Abimelech's dream, just to like warn him, and how it could only be the act of the Most High to even keep him from laying with Gerar, well, Sarah now.
And I was looking at that too. I was like, she was a very wanted woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
This is
but look
juicy.
but reading is but look how it was handled differently than with Pharaoh, because Abimelech was, he believed in, Elohim, so it's a big difference in how it was handled than with Pharaoh, because he was a faithful servant as well.
That's a good point of code. Yes, ma'am. I give it to our foremother Sarah that, so one, now we know that they had this pact, her and her Adon, that if, something like this was to happen, she knew what to say. And again, she was obedient in that. And the fact that I love her and Abraham's love and her devotion to him. Because the fact that, King Abimelech, he was a king. And for her to go into this, I'm sure, big and mighty, dwelling, and all that was, promised to her, offered to her, she didn't let that, money, riches, and things get in the way of her mission, her love, her obedience to her Adon. She stayed the course. She didn't get distracted. Cause she could have changed her mind. She could have been like, I like this seat better than what I got with my, you know what I'm saying? But go get rich now, cause Abraham, he was rich now too, though,
Right. He was. So
go ahead, Hope.
No, I was gonna say you're right. I know I was gonna say you're right. But like you said, Abraham had money as well, but this is a king. But that king had that one nation, and Yahuwah Elohim had promised him to be the father of many nations. So that's to have faith in Elohim's promise. That's where I commend Sarah at, to have her, that Muna in Yahuwah's, his promise, his covenant that he had made.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
But it chose to be obedient as well.
And it also goes to show you that, when you're obedient, when you're following Abiyah's laws, statutes, and commandments, no matter the situation, Abiyah will protect you, in the face of your enemies, in the face of whatever is around you. He got your back, especially the daughters of Zion. Her lying and, well, not necessarily lying, but in a way, kind of, but her saying what she said to the king, any outcome could have happened. You know what I mean? But Halal, that King Abimelech was, like he said, was obedient and listened to Abiyah. Hallelujah. I also want to bring out verse 18 where it says that Yahuwah closed up the wombs of the house of Abimelech. And it just goes to show you that Abiyah has the power to close your womb and or to open your womb. But it's up to us as women, if we're going to be obedient or not for him to open your womb. For me personally, I pray that Abiyah does open my womb so that I can have children, and I just pray for that type of submission and obedience in that, because ultimately I know it's up to me if that be the case or not, and even if that's not the case, I'm still going to strive and endure and to walk this walk, to the best of my ability. But definitely keep me in prayer regarding that. I remember reading that once, for the first time, and that really did touch me. That there's a chance, there's hope, for our, the daughters of Zion's womb to be open if, someone is struggling, with that situation. So
Hallelujah. So be it, Akosi. Hallelujah. You are already doing kingdom work, Akosi. It is beautiful what you do for the Mishpachah. With my two boys. And hallelujah, I said this to you yesterday. You're so uplifting. You are already touching your nephew's life, and touching lives. And just what you do is so amazing, Akosi. I really pray that Abiyah opens your womb.
Hallelujah.
Well received. Hallelujah.
Can't wait to love on my little niece and nephew. Yeah.
I'm passing y'all. Like, go ahead. Y'all guys.
Yes. Because I'm done. Stop loving on everybody else's.
I heard that.
I would love another one once I have a Nadon.
Yes,
I will love one. But that I have 4 and 2 grandkids, so and my god sisters get ready to have twins. I'm loving on everybody's. I'm good where I'm at.
I hear you, and you can give them my deck.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't adopt. I'm not having it.
Now, what if the Most High gives you an Adon and then you become with child, Akosh Miranda? It is Abba's will, after all.
If it is Abba's will, because it will be a true miracle, because I don't have any tubes anymore.
Oh,
my tubes were removed January 3rd, 2024.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, Abiyah can do all things.
That's why I said,
You're gonna be like poor Mother Sarah talking
about.
Hallelujah. I tell you what though, in Genesis 20, they are some traveling people.
Yes.
I mean, maybe countries, I don't know how far they travel, but I'm sure it might take days, to get to, their destination, sometimes. And then packing up their tents and packing up their stuff and traveling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good thing though. If they had people, following them, they wouldn't be able to, track them really good.
So one of the verses that stood out to me was verse 11. And Abraham said, because I thought surely the fear of Elohim is not in this place, and they will slay me for my woman's sake. With that, it reveals, how Abraham acted out of fear rather than faith in the moment, and he assumed that the people around him, did not fear Elohim. Instead of trusting fully in, Yahweh's protection, he relied on his own understanding, and that's, devised a plan of his own, his half truth, which he had did before. He relied on what he knew. And we tend to do the same thing, rely on what we already know, what we think the outcome is going to be. And we also, look at a person or, automatically assume that, they're not of Elohim, they're not Yahuwah, can't be. And, and we, who are we to judge them? Because like he found out that Abraham found out that, oh, they are of Elohim. Oh, they do believe in Elohim, the Most High, and but instead of him, like I said, talking out of faith, he talked out of fear. So we have to make sure that we pray, that we talk, that, from our, faith point, that, Abiyah is not, it's still in us, a ruach of fear, but it also shows how, Abiyah remained faithful even when Abraham faltered. So, we just have to be careful not to judge, the ruach of others just based upon our perceptions, just looking at a person, looking at their environment, or looking at their situation. Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well said, Coach. That's all I had for Genesis 20. Anybody else have anything else for this chapter?
No.
All right. Genesis chapter 21.
I believe verse 1, yes, when Yahuwah visits Sarah, and he said, Yahuwah did unto Sarah as he had spoken. Just going back and reading that, it makes me remember he used to show his face before we came so far from the law.
Oh. Yes, ma'am. That's good.
It's really beautiful how the Most High has even woken us up. It's like now we're truly blessed.
For sure. So loud, yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
So look at verse 4. How Abraham circumcised his son, it shows obedience. He didn't delay in, Yahuwah's instructions when he said that all men, that are your servants or that you bought with your money, your children, and, to have them circumcised. So he showed obedience to Abiyah. So that's one of the things that I wanted to point out was how he demonstrated, his obedience unto Abba Yah, Lao Yah.
Allow, yeah. Oh, that's from pointing that out.
Yeah. Hello, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where's
I
he
want to
at?
point
He's
out.
everywhere.
I want to point out the bit where it mentions that Sarah said Elohim has made me to laugh so that all that hear will laugh with me. Now you would think that she would stop laughing by now because she already got chastised once about laughing about this situation, and then she's still going to laugh again. I just thought that was very ironic that she continued to laugh.
Yeah, but I think this time she laughed as, "Oh, you got me this time." Nobody's ever gonna believe that I bore a child at this age, and versus the first laugh is like, "Yeah, right. I'm old. Ain't gonna happen."
Good
So
point of
this was
view.
more
Yeah.
of a joyous, more of a joy than a doubt this time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference in this laugh.
That's good. I remember we were talking about the heart posture and how Elohim, looks at the matters of the heart. So yes, ma'am, halal ya. So that's a code.
Yeah.
Now, what do y'all think about Sarai kicking out Hagar once again? This time for another reason.
But to me, it shows there was jealousy, to me, it's like Abba Yah has given you everything you have wanted and more, and you're still harking on this woman, which Abba Yah didn't give to your husband, to your Don.
Mm-hmm.
You did,
Mm-hmm.
So you,
Wow.
So it's like it is a constant reminder to her that she went against Abba Yah,
Mm-hmm.
and she don't know how to handle that's her punishment.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So
Good point.
like my children's father, they left when I found he had another woman pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't give that woman to him, so I
Right.
left for a reason, and we, tried counseling. We did try to work it out, but that child was a constant reminder of his infidelity to me. And
Mm-hmm.
it, it was, I, let's say the enemies, I don't know, they was like, "Oh, well, you wasn't enough for him," or "you this," or it was a lot of self-doubt of me. So
Mm-hmm.
I chose to walk away instead of all that self-doubt stuff. So, so part of me get where Sarah's coming from. It's a constant reminder
Mm-hmm.
that I made a commitment, but you have another child. This is supposed to be a life that we built together, but that you let somebody else enter in. So he sees, okay, well, I'm supposed to be the mother of nations, you're the father of nations. So, I don't want people side-eyeing me because there's another child here. Even though,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, she gave him to her husband. instead of listening to Abiyah, instead of praying to Abiyah, he decided to do her thing, make her own plans. Now she has to pay for it. It's eating away at her.
Yes, ma'am. And so that's for sharing your situation. When you were talking about that, I was thinking about, you know, even though you went through that, Abiyah, Halal saw you fit to be set apart. And all that has to happen for a reason, for Abiyah's reason. And same in this situation, although, Sarai did what she did, still, Hagar was still taken care of. Her son was still taken care of and blessed, through Abraham. And I just praise and thank Abiyah that, even through our mistakes in life, through our decisions that we decide to do, against Abiyah's will, that he's still with us and he never left us, through it all. And like a few code, I see Abiyah just working in you in marvelous ways and beautiful ways and building you up.
Yeah.
And hallelujah, you're just becoming, this strong daughter of Zion. And I get to watch it right before my eyes. So, you going through that situation, but yet you found the truth. You were chosen. And now, just like our foremother Sarah, and Hagar and her son, their children are being blessed. We are the children of Abraham, and we're being blessed, just through it all. So hello, y'all. Again, told a cookie for sharing that.
Hold on for that. All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
It's all Him that's working in me. Allow Yah.
Hallelujah. Okay. Okay.
No, I was just going to say that, even with, everything with, Sarah being blessed with a child, Sarah, everything that Abiyah has blessed her and Abraham with, you know, uh, that, it's just hard to see that she was so jealous, but it shows you that she's still human. So it shows, it also shows us, that we can relate, so I'm, so that, so it helps as we are reading from cover to cover to know that the blueprint, the women and the, not just women, but the, people that, were in that are in the truth, that it shows us their human side, that they've made mistakes, but, they're able to repent, and then, Abiyah is, like I said, even when they falter, he remains, he remains faithful. That, it's examples for us that even though we falter, Abiyah is just not going to cast us down. It just, it shows us that, I'm grateful to Abiyah that it shows us that, that it's, that we make mistakes, but as long as we do, what is our next steps? So we can see ourselves in these women and, and guide our next actions according to
Mm-hmm.
Abiyah. Okay, we know that was not the right thing to do, so Abiyah, show me the right thing to do. So I'm grateful for that. Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. Well said, Akko.
Hallelujah.
I love in verse 11 and verse 12, once again, the obedience in Abraham. And you don't see him questioning Abiyah. Because in verse 12 it says, and Elohim said unto Abraham, sorry, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad, and because of your bondwoman, and all that Sarah has sent unto you. Hearken unto her voice, for in Yitzchak shall your seed be called. And it just goes to show you, almost like a pre-foreshadowing that, Abraham will do what he has to do to obey Abiyah, even if it means, sending away your son, and then, later on we'll see that he's willing to also sacrifice his son. And that's a lot of obedience there. And if I was a mother, I dropped my headpiece. Okay, that. And if I was a mother, for me, I think personally that would be a challenge for me to sacrifice, my child, especially my firstborn, and all that I've been through with that, and being, old in age and not thinking that I could have a child, and then, having it, and then having to sacrifice. So I can see also why Abiyah picked Abraham and not a woman for that matter. But I just think that's really a lot of obedience in Abraham's part with that.
Hallelujah. That is a good reflection on it, Akko. It's hard, because as you're aware, my eldest goes to a public school, and just Thursday he's there with a concussion, and a child's trying to fight with him as my firstborn, and then on top of that, in 2017 I was told by doctors I couldn't conceive, so just having the faith really moves the mountains, and and it's wonderful how Abraham was just, okay, you want this? I'm gonna give my precious baby, my first fruit to you, because I know if your will is the only way to go. So that was beautiful, very beautiful. Hello, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then going down a little further to 16 with it just shows Hagar's strength to me,
Mm-hmm.
and her faith as well. And she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what she was going through that time. She had, what did, I might have to go back and read because I'm not sure. I know that Yah had told her, that Elohim had told her that, he would be taken care of. But I remember that he said that he was going to make him, give him princes and nations. So was that, do you remember if it was told to Abraham or was it told to Hagar? I mean, I can go back and read it.
Hagar. Let me see if I can
So,
find it.
because I'm just thinking, I know she was, her heart was breaking because as mothers, as women, we don't want to see harm come to our children. We sacrifice so much so that they can. We go without so that they have. So to, after the water was gone and, they're sitting here surrounded by wilderness, nothing, I could
Right.
imagine what was going through her head, that, all hope is lost. Oh, it's gone, but, that she, and I'm just grateful that Abba Yah heard her cry. He
Mm.
heard, and that is for all of us a lot when we are at rock bottom, when we are at that point, and Abba Yah hears us the most because it's the most sincere.
Mm-hmm.
So he, Abba Yah did, he came down and he, reassured her, that, although she, had reached the end, of, all hope, he showed her that, he has not reached the end of his power.
Mm.
His power is unlimited.
Mm.
So to me, in this moment right here is when Hagar got, when her faith really increased, because it's, like she was at her within her, all hope was gone for her. And Abba Yah just reached down and, he heard her cry. No, he's going to live. This is what's going to happen. He's still going to be the father of princes. He's still going to have, his nations. Because what Hagar also didn't realize is that Yishmael is still part of, even though, they're cast out from the rest of them, that he is still part of Abraham's seed.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the here and now, when we hit that rock, but we don't see the big picture overall of what Abba Yah has in store for us.
Mm.
So we have to keep that faith, and like, oh yeah, Abba Yah, remember you told me that, you're going to do this, so I'm going to keep my faith and I'm going to keep on moving. I can tell you, I was homeless, living in my van with my two youngest kids. And I was, working, pride got in the way, because I was staying at my sister's, and I'm like, she's like, well, we just want to know when, you're going, look for a place. And I was supposed to move in with my children's father, and then, that didn't work. So I know that's not part of Albion. And, I'm like sitting here, so I'm not sleeping because I'm, up, making sure nothing's coming towards, the van, and I'm making sure that, I'm like, if something happens, they're going to take my kids from me. And that would be the worst thing ever for me because I love my kids. Just, like most mothers, And I was like, you know what? I said, I'm just going to just move back to North Carolina. My parents always have open arms, because, me and the kids sticking in the van or staying here and there, hotels here and there. This is not the life that I want for my kids. My grandson at that time was probably about 5. He just looks up at me and he says, you can't go nowhere. I love you and I need you. So, of course, that broke my heart. And I ended up getting stopped one night. I was going to my oldest son. He was staying with his father. I was going to my oldest son. I was like, I need $5 until tomorrow to put some gas in my van. And I got stopped and had a tail light out. Officer told me, he said, oh, your license is suspended. I said, what? So I'm sitting there, I'm crying and everything, and you know, the officers they were so sweet to me and my kids. They was like, they were calling the homeless hotlines, and you know, was like, let me call my sister. And they took me around there. They carried my bags for me, everything. And my sister and her husband, they welcomed us with open arms. Had, you know, beds and everything set up for us and everything. That was in November, right before, you know, at that time, holiday time. And we ended up staying for about a month when one of the applications I had put in for housing previously years before came through. So, you know, I was grateful to Aviyah. I was like, we don't have much. We had some air mattresses and we had internet so they could watch their tablets. We could, you know, watch programs together. And Aviyah made it so that I could get my van back and I didn't have to pay a lot of money. It was, you know, but like I said, I didn't see his plan. I was upset and, you know, crying. I was crying and I kept telling everybody I refused to lose my faith. And at that time I said, you know, God and Jesus at that time. And I was like, and so I kept telling everybody, I was like, I don't have nothing much. I got my kids. I said, but I refuse to lose my faith. And that's all I kept saying is I refuse to lose my faith. My faith will not be wavering. I refuse, you know, and, you know, I prayed and, you know, prayed with the kids and I still pray with my kids. And it was like, Abiyah just was like, okay, you're where you're where I need you to be. You're vulnerable for me to do and for you to see my works, for you to be able to be a witness to the next person. And I have been witnessing, telling that testimony, you know, to so many young people who have lost hope. And they're like, because you got it all, I said, I still don't have it all together. That it's nothing but His grace while I'm where I'm at. So, like I said, so when we hit that rock bottom, when we, you know, that cry, that's when He can do the most work for us. And I'm just so grateful to Abiyah, Halal Yah.
Hello, y'all. All praises.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'm not sure if you ladies. Hold on, baby. I'm on my phone. I'm not sure if you ladies got the gist of this being prophetic onto our Messiah, Yeshua. I saw it as prophetic, like it was Abraham starting something that the Most High wanted, which was a son, a son, a beautiful son, and then later on, a Messiah finished it. I'm not sure if you ladies see it that way, but that's what the Ruach's instilling in me.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, yeah.
Most
So
definitely.
beautiful. He is he is the most creative writer in history.
Yes, ma'am.
Agreed.
Yeah. Mhm.
First again, I called Miranda, so that's for sharing your testimony. I'm going to step away for a minute, but I appreciate you for opening up. I'm sure there's a lot of similar stories and other coaches who, may listen and can relate to that. So Toda. And yes, ma'am, my close answer that is spot on, and Toda for bringing that out as well. All praises. Anything else for Genesis 20?
That was Genesis 21 for Kofi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Genesis 21. Let's go on to Genesis 22. One thing I would like to bring out is the first verse. And I remember when I first read this, and my dad and I went over this about Abraham just being ready to say, behold, here I am, not questioning Abiyah, not saying, hold on, give me a minute, not anything in between, but him being ready. And it just made me think, like, am I on the ready? Am I truly, not just in words, but in function and in my heart? Can I truly drop everything and be ready when Abiyah calls me to do something and an assignment? Is there doubt? Is there fear? Is there anything holding me back from saying, here I am, and truly meaning it? And I admit that's something that I need to work on, because I'll be in function of a thing, but sometimes while I'm in function, I allow the enemy to put doubt in me. Either I'm saying, like, I can't do it, I'm not capable of doing it, why even bother doing it? This is something that you don't normally do. This is not, your thing. So why are you trying to, do something that, you don't do on a regular basis? And, like, I'll be so hyped and so ready to go from the beginning, but as time goes on, that's what I allow to seep in. That's what, the enemy tries to play on to me. Lately I have been casting it down faster because I can see it, because I know the enemy's tricks, and he tried to do it before, but it's that little bit is still there. So I am working on, being able to say, here I am 100%ly, and do it all the way through like Abraham did. He not once wavered. He not once second guessed. He was strong and firm and, moved forward in action and saw it through without anything other than. So I just think that first verse is so very powerful. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Another thing, verse 3, again, they some traveling, forefathers and mothers. They said they had to rose up early. When you gotta go, somewhere far away, you gotta get up sometimes 3, 4, sometimes 6 o'clock in the morning to make that 8-hour trip, to get to where you're going. So the fact that he had to raise up early, it wasn't no around the corner. So can you imagine, packing up his stuff? Then he had his young men with him. then, his boy and everything else just to get there. So that's an exhaustion already. Just walking there, riding there, just getting there itself. That's a lot. So that's one point right there. And then it said, then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. So who knows how long it took him to get there. I also want to bring, does anybody else have anything else, before I go to verse 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, did you have something to go?
No, mine. I was just going to say that like you said, there were some traveling folks. But I was just going to say, just look how obedient he was. He just got up and just walked until Elohim was like, this is the spot here. Not knowing everything that's, like I said, not knowing everything, the whole picture. It's just, he just had that much, love and obedience for him. Okay, I'm just going to do what you said. Pack up my manservant, pack up my, this is where we're going. We're just going to head until you tell us to stop. We as people like, oh, where we going? How long it's going to take us to get there?
Right.
It just shows us
Put him
great
in
obedience
GPS.
there. Allow y'all. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. And even little Isaac, Ishak, he didn't complain either. He didn't ask, questions like, well, how far we gonna go, and so obedience on both ends.
Heard. Yeah, no complaint.
Right. That's right. Mhm. On verse 5, where it says, and Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. So right then and there we see that Abraham knew that he was coming back. He already knew. That's a lot of faith to first, go forth with sacrificing your son, but that you're coming back with the boy. I thought that was very important to bring out. Hallelujah.
Hold on. Bringing that out. I didn't even see that. Hallelujah.
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 Also, verse 6, I'm just thinking like, okay, so you wake up early in the morning, then you journey there to, like you were saying, to Camaranda, to a long way, not knowing where it is they're going until Abiyah tells them where to go. So they journeyed all that, right? And then they have to get the wood and lay it upon Yishak his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they both, went together. So they gotta gather all this stuff after traveling. He's gotta be tired. And also I thought what was profound, verse 7. Let me see. His son asking him, but where is the lamb for an ascending smoke offering? he wasn't crying. He wasn't, frantic. Because at this point, he's a smart boy. I'm sure he's figuring in his head what's going on. He's not acting how most young men would act at this point. He's very obedient, just like his father. So it goes to show how Father Abraham is raising his son to be obedient to Abba Yah in this manner. So just wanted to bring that point out.
It doesn't say anything about him having to gag him from screaming, nothing. So you're right. He's just, I look at Abraham, how that was his, how long he waited, to have a child with his woman, and but he didn't question it. He didn't try to negotiate, like when he tried to negotiate for Sodom and Amorah. He didn't try to negotiate. He didn't, he was just obedient. That's how much love he had for Abba Yah, and how much amuna he had for him. How much, that, okay, I'm giving my child back to you. This is your request. That, that was his greatest gift. I'm giving them back to you because being obedient. Most of them have been like, but you just gave them to me. You would sat there and tried to negotiate and but he showed that faith. And like I said, and then he had that same faith and love that he has instilled in his child, as you said, Coach, because the child didn't, you hear nothing about him squirming, yelling, screaming, trying to beg his father, tears. They don't show that the word doesn't say any of that. So we have to have that same faith, the same, love and faith in Abba Yah is going to, do what's best for us. We have to just follow it, just obediently instead of, like I said, where we going? Why are we doing all this? So that's one thing I know I have to pray for, as well for myself, is that, that I have the faith and love that Abraham.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so talking to Coach, you kind of cut off.
No, I'm saying hello, yeah. I was just saying this, true, true worship involves, surrendering to Abba Yah. Hello, Yah.
Hello, yeah.
Hello, yeah.
And again, verse 9, laying his son on the altar upon the wood. And again, his son's still being obedient, not crying, hollering, yelling out, none of that. I also love verse 10 and 11. It just shows if we are in motion in doing whatever it is Abba Yah have called, is telling us to do. And the angel of Yahuwah saying, Abraham, Abraham, and telling him not to lay your hand upon the land. Allow Yah for that. But he also already knew that the land was going to be provided when we was reading, below that. And there it was. So it's like you have to have not only that full obedience, So like you said, Coach Miranda, we have to have that faith as well. It goes hand in hand. Allow that.
Allow y'all.
Hello, yeah.
I don't think I have anything else for 22. Anybody else have anything for it? Excuse me. Genesis 22? All right. Genesis 23. I want to point out where it talks about Sarah's death. I don't want to spoil anything, but spoiler alert, we will find out exactly how she dies in Jasher when we get to that point. And also Jasher will fill in a lot of the gaps too, as far as, the journey with Abraham and the sacrifice of Yitzhak, and many more, and it's a good read. I also love how Abraham, he was very professional. He made sure when money was involved, he had witnesses. He just handled everything to make sure that he was covered. Even when it came to Sarah having, her say that she is her his sister. Just he was very meticulous and just very watchful, and handled things righteously. He was a very upright, righteous man, and you can also see that in his marriage with Sarah, and how he handled things. He was stern, but you can just tell that he was the man in the household. That's a good example of hierarchy and having the authority, in the right place. So I wanted to bring that out.
Hello, yeah.
Did anyone want to add on to for Mother Sarah? Since we are talking about the women when we, read on when we get to their part. Or even Hagar. And I think that's the last we'll hear of Hagar as well. One thing with Hagar, it shows that you, as wives, that we shouldn't be quick to leave Oregon. I know that she had a peculiar situation, but the fact that she was told to return, that always stuck with me, even though she was dealing with, harsh conditions as far as, Sarah. She was told to go back. And unfortunately, in Israel, we see the wanting to leave our Adon. And even in that, even in all that she was going through, she was told to go back. And it's just a reminder, if you endure, even when our Adons or our situations may be hard, within the marriage, that you will be blessed. Because it never said, it was okay for her to just up and leave, even though she was kicked out. She was still told to go back, and she was kicked out. So I just wanted to say that to encourage maybe those who are listening in and going through things in their marriage to, not be so quick to leave, not be, not allow the hard situations to get you to that point, to endure, to love on your Adon, and to practice 1 Peter 3. Because again, you'll be blessed by, staying with your Adon, as long as he's not putting his hands on you, or, doing anything physical like that. To do whatever it is that you can do to save your marriage on your end. So just wanted to give that encouragement there.
That is beautiful, Kosi. Halal, I'm looking at 1 Peter 3 now, and I'm just highlighting the whole chapter. I think since coming into the truth, I'm trying to transform everything in me from what I was taught to be a woman like Sarah and even Hagar. Wow, but trying to reverse it all, it's a lot. But our foremothers was ever able to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And even though, even though our situations may not be like exact pinpoint, because they did a lot of things differently back then, but you can still see the bigger picture. You can still see the outcome of being righteous, being obedient, going back, not looking back, and things like that. That can really, help us go a long way. Hello,
Hello.
One thing I do want to also add, our foremother Sarah, as we read on, we'll learn more attributes of Sarah. And one of those attributes is calling her Adon master. And, excuse me, just wanted to bring that to light and how important that is. And it shows the proper place in authority. It shows submissiveness. And it's just a lot with that. It shows that you are a daughter of Sarah, because like the word says, by calling, you're a Adon master. And again, I just commend for Mother Sarah, for her love and her submissiveness to Abraham, and being, a great example of that. And everywhere he went, she went with him. She didn't question him. She didn't complain about where they were going. She just left with, her Don. And I see myself in for Mother Sarah, just picking up and leaving your land where, that's all you know, and just following your Don. So there has to be this may not be our last stop. For us and I, we may be traveling to another location, and I just pray that when it's time to go, then I'll be able to be like Abraham and say, here I am ready. That's another thing I'm working on. Just getting my ruach together so that when it is time to go, I am ready. And halal yah for Abiyah, giving us this time to prepare our ruach for, our next journey, our next assignment, our next whatever it is that Abiyah throws our way. I pray that we are ready at that point. And I also pray that these the Bible studies will help us to get there just by knowing, having the knowledge, seeing the example that we're reading about, so that we don't do, what our foremothers did. So halal yah. I just praise Abiyah for all that he's doing in all of our lives, and may the journey continue. Halal yah.
Hello. Hello, yeah. Well, you were saying that, Akoti. The first thing that came to mind was all the beautiful garden you have. And then when you were coming to an end on your halal, it dawned upon me, well, the garden you have now, it's going to be multiplied if you just submit into Abba's will. And that is so beautiful that the Ruach just let me envision it. Like, literally, I got to see what my view of what Akibeniyah has shown on your garden, and then at the final end of what you were praying for, just bam, it's all flourishing. It's multiplying. It's more than what you even could have imagined. You're more hydrated than you need. So halal yah, Akoti. He is definitely going to work in you. Wow, that was beautiful. Halal yah.
Halal yah. So that we're back to the code what's needed. Halal yah. If nothing else, did anybody have any comments or last minute remarks that they would like to add for tonight? I just I love the book of Genesis and rereading, and every time like I see something new each time I read Genesis. Well, any of the books for that matter, but Genesis lays that foundation, and it's just a beautiful read altogether.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull up and see our next chapter. All right, so next week we are reading Genesis 24, 25, 26, and 27. Allow that. So Samantha, yes ma'am. Would you mind praying us out tonight?
Before you do that, Koti Keisha just sent a message saying that her daughter had a stroke.
Oh no.
So that we can keep her uplifted in our prayers tonight and always. She said a Harvard Shalom Kotis. It was my intention to participate in tonight's Bible study. She said she even came home early. However, when she pulled up in front of her house, her grandson called and to tell her that her daughter had a stroke. So she's at the emergency room now and asked for prayers. So I just wanted to bring that, to the attention while we're praying tonight.
Hold on.
Khan, I will go ahead and incorporate her into the Palau. Of course it will. Abba, I just thank you so much for putting this mishpah together. Hallelujah. You are so merciful and so powerful. You are all knowing, all seeing. And Abba, only you know what you are working in us now. Abba, please protect us, protect the holy nation, and wrap your grace and mercy around us and our Akotis that weren't able to be here. Father, I lift up Akoti Keisha. May this be a moment where she can guard herself up and put on the full armor. Abba, I'm not sure where her walk is with her daughter at this moment, but please, Abba, give this a moment. Abba, please give this as an opportunity for her to spread your truth, to spread your love, and Abba, just wake those who you deem able to wake up, Abba. And we just thank you so much for all that you're doing in our life, all that you're shaking in everybody's ruach. Abba, we appreciate all that you've done for us. You've gotten us out of the dirt, and you put us new garments. You changed our name. Abba, you are so wonderful and merciful, and please protect us in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Hallelujah, so be it.
Hallelujah, so be it.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Well, I pray that you all get some righteous rest and that you all have a shalom-filled Layla. And we'll continue to keep Keisha and her daughter in prayer for sure. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Layla, tell us something to have
a shalom, Layla.
Keep planting them seeds.
Yes, ma'am, and a big hug all around.
Yes. Over shalom.
Shalom.